Minnesota State Senator's future is being discussed tonight in St. Paul. DFL Senator Nicole Mitchell is facing felony burglary charges stemming from an incident last month. Valley News Team's Quinn Gorham brings us an update from right outside the Ethics Committee hearing room.
It's been over 2 weeks since Senator Nicole Mitchell was arrested and charged with first-degree felony burglary, and now the Senate Ethics Subcommittee is meeting to review a complaint filed against her. The complaint was filed by Republican members who say that she should be forced to resign from the floor and not be able to cast a vote for the rest of the legislative session. Now, that complaint is set to be heard later tonight. There's one complaint ahead of it, a complaint that was filed against Senator Glenn Gruenhagen regarding some images that he sent out to members of the Senate last year. We don't expect that one to take very long, as the Senator Mitchell complaint will likely take up the majority of discussion in tonight's Ethics Subcommittee. That's about all we have for now. That discussion is underway, and the Ethics Subcommittee is expected to meet late into the night tonight to finish discussing that case. Reporting in St. Paul, I'm Quinn Gorham.
And Quinn will update us with the very latest tonight on Valley News Live at 10.